on there and we froze, so we're going to get moving again. This is the principles book for real estate principles out of Texas. And what I'm doing is I'm going through different states. If you have a state that you want me to talk about, go ahead and put it in my comments and we'll go there. Or if you have a real estate question that you don't understand and you're studying real estate. So if you're getting your real estate license, a lot of times you have electives that you can take. And the electives I would highly suggest, if you're not going to be a real estate lawyer, is, hi there, how you doing? If you're not going to be a real estate lawyer, don't take real estate law. If you're not going to be a property manager, don't take property management. If you're planning on doing real estate and being a professional real estate agent, the best elective that you could probably take is escrow and title, so you understand how escrow and title work. Now, one of the things that my business partner and I were talking about was a lot of the stuff that people don't know that they don't know. And I think that that's the biggest problem, because people ask me questions and they're sometimes scared to ask me, but they don't even know that they don't know what they're asking. How about that one? So let's jump into it. I know we talked a little bit about real estate law on page 12 of this book, which is the Principles of Real Estate, Part 1, number 121. And this is a school in Texas. If you need any questions, just go ahead and put it in the chat. So we're talking about real estate law and how extensive it is. There's many aspects of real estate that require the expertise of an attorney. And it says, my father, oh gosh, you guys, I love when you give me messages, but unless Arlene's answering them for them, you can put them in the chat afterwards into the comments, and I'll definitely answer the comments. So if you put them in there, then I can read them and they don't pop up while I'm reading the book. I'd love to help you guys with all the information that you are saying and helping with us. So there's many aspects of real estate that require attorneys. In the past, real estate attorneys mainly dealt with drawing up legal documents, deeds, and deeds of trust and contracts. So in California, we don't use attorneys. Okay, we use escrow and title. Okay, oh, your friend's on. That's great, Allie. So over the years, however, real estate law has been expanded to include more attorney involvement in the legal aspects of the government powers of acquisition of property. So what it's called when people are buying property is acquisition. So you're acquiring the property. Other areas of real estate law include issues around water rights. So one of the things you have to know is, depending on where you're working, like in California, there's Northern California and there's down south and there's Central California. And in Northern California, they have a lot of water right issues. And in Central California, I'm not so sure, but I'm in Southern California, and we have normal everyday water coming through, and we have neighborhoods where everybody has public water that we pay for. So sometimes you have to have water company rights in order to have water come to your house. So you have to know these things when you're selling real estate. You have to be, and people ask me all the time, well, how do I start buying real estate? The first thing you do is talk to a loan officer. If the loan officer says you don't qualify for a loan, the next step is saying, why? Show me what I need to do to get to that point. And if you have a position or a job where you can't afford it, maybe you have a spouse or somebody you can buy a property with, team up and buy something with somebody. That way you both can earn wealth. And then once you both have wealth and you have some equity in that property, you can sell that property or buy each other out and go to the next property. And now you have enough wealth to buy your own property. Got it? So there's all kinds of things we can do to figure out how you can get property too. So it says other as real estate involves water rights, air rights, believe it or not, the air above you, real versus personal property, and versus trade fixtures, legal descriptions and discrepancies, and legal issues arising from the way ownership is held in the property. Foreclosures and title policy misunderstandings, all types of legal issues around condominiums, HOA, homeowners associations, and CCRs. So when you're talking about areas that are personal property versus real property, that's really easy, because personal property is movable and real property is not movable. Then it talks about fixtures. Now in our class, we talk about fixtures pretty extensively, because on the California test, there's a lot of fixture questions. So the thing is if you have something that you connected to the wall and it doesn't come down, it's a fixture. depending on how it's connected. So it has a lot to do with how it's connected. Now, it also has to do with, is it something that is required or not required? Sometimes you have a ceiling fan. Well, let's say that you have your favorite ceiling fan. You don't want to leave it when you sell your home. And you're like, oh, it's personal property. No, it's not, because of how it's connected. It's a fixture, so it stays. Now, if you want that fan, what you do is before you list the house for sale is you take the fan down, put a less expensive one up, or just put a cap on it so that you don't have to have anything there. So, fixtures are a fun thing. How about that? So fixtures are not only just in Texas law, they're in California law, they're in every law, because fixtures are something that people fight over when they sell a house if somebody takes something with them. Need some thumbs up, you guys, and some subscription and some sharing, all that good stuff. So anyway, in addition to those areas, attorneys are more involved than ever before in landlord-tenant law, and most recently, the federal government's new expanding reach in mortgage law, primarily due to the Dodd-Frank Act. So back from about 2008 to 2010, loan officers were learning a new way to work because Dodd-Frank came out and they changed how the loan estimate works. So before the loan estimate was not a loan estimate, it was a good faith estimate. Now it's a loan estimate. So this is where you really need to talk to a loan officer. If you don't have somebody that you trust and you want to talk to, I talk to people all the time. I coach people, and I want to call myself more of a real estate consultant because I want to show you how you can buy a home. So I can look at what you have and push it forward to help you get to where you want to be. And so with real estate law and landlord-tenant laws and now Dodd-Frank laws, she wants to know if she can get a real estate agent. Okay, so like I said, the best thing to do is put things in the comments so that when I go back and look at my comments, I can answer your questions. I know Ellie, who's on right now, you can reach me on Instagram. My Instagram is Sharon Butler there's a dot there, RE for Real Estate Pro. Okay, so you can reach me there too. So as an overview, it's important to know that there are both states and federal constitutional laws. Constitutional laws take precedence over state laws if there is a conflict between the state law and a federal law. If there is a federal question in the case, we have state laws. These are called statutes. So a state law is called a statute. And they are created by Texas legislators that have full force and effect of the law. So what happens is, got to tell you, you have a state legislator, you have somebody who represents your area, and if you have problems with something that has to do with your state or legislation, you might be able to come up with something that they don't know about. And it's always pretty easy to make an appointment with your local legislator because that's what they're there for, okay? So going on, we have also ordinances. So an ordinance and regulations at the city level and the county level. And so particularly, there's more expanding authority for state and federal agencies to make rules that are binding and generally considered to have a force of the law subject to have a review by the court. So regarding mortgage law, beginning in October 4th, 2015, the Dodd-Frank Act changed the disclosure requirements and the laws around purchasing a property. Disclosures of the cost of financing property changed, as well as the settlement forms and procedures changed. This has the effect not only with the purchaser, but also had a significant impact on the lenders and the title companies. So the HUD-1 statement, so it used to be called a HUD-1 statement, form has been used for many years and has been replaced with the closing estimate form. So it's a national law, and I actually teach the mortgage class, and I was teaching it this weekend. So the laws actually started changing around 2008, 2009, and the HUD closing statement went from a HUD closing statement to what's called the closing disclosure. And the closing disclosure has to be the same or less than the original loan estimate. So at the beginning, you're gonna get a loan estimate. It's gonna tell you exactly how much it costs. So they're talking about Dodd-Frank and the changes in mortgages and purchasing a home. So basically what happened is we originally started with a good faith estimate and we had no closing disclosure until the very end. So now what we have is we have a loan estimate instead of a good faith estimate, Because a good faith estimate is saying, well, I'm going to try to do it for this much, but it might cost more. So instead of being a good faith estimate, it's became a loan estimate, and anything that changes on that is subject to discretion. So anything in section A and B on the loan estimate cannot change at all, because you're not allowed to shop for it. The person who's going to shop for it is going to be your loan person. Your loan company in section A is what the loan company is charging you. In section B, it's what the other costs are that you're going to have in getting your loan. But when you get down into section C, that's your escrow company and your title company. So it's the loan officer who's going to explain all your fees, even though all those fees aren't going to the loan officer, okay? So it's very important for you to know that, because you have to know where. I know the internet cut off, and I don't know, I have really good internet, so I don't know why it cut off on the last one, but we'll say to be continued. So it changed a lot, but some things changed for the good and some things didn't. Because for the good, yes, you're going to completely understand what it's going to cost you, and the fees cannot change. By the end of the loan, if the fees change, they can go down or they can stay the same. But the only way that the fees can go up is if the borrower has what's called, it's a change form, and the borrower has to authorize it. So you cannot just increase the fees on a borrower like they used to do back a long time ago. So going on, let's see what else they say about the settlement statement. So let's go on. Notification to the buyers in these costs have also changed and can affect the closing date of the property. All of the changes were instituted for the purpose of more clearly explaining to the buyer the cost to acquire a property. Millions of dollars and thousands of hours have been spent by attorneys, lenders, and title companies to ensure that these disclosures are in compliance with the federal law. The closing estimate form, which is called the closing disclosure. The closing disclosure is one portion of the Dodd-Frank Act. More changes are imminent. They're going to constantly keep changing things, and the benefits of these programs will be determined in the future. So what I see that change is they always say that it's changing for the clients, but you have people, who are the people who are changing the laws? And, you have to really kind of look at that with a fine-tooth comb, because yes, it's important for consumers to know what they're getting themselves into. However, do consumers know that the price of an appraisal went from $250 to $300 all the way up to now somewhere around $700 or $800? And that happened because they said, okay, you can't talk directly to the appraiser. You have to talk to the AMC, which is the appraisal management company. And now because the appraisal management company wants to be paid, appraisals cost more than twice as much. Well, I don't see why an appraisal management company should get as much as they do for every file, because the appraiser's doing all the work, and they used to get $250 to $300, and now it's $500, $700 for an appraisal, and the appraisers would be perfectly happy with $300. So where's all that extra money going to? And so that's a whole nother day to talk about. But going on to the top of page 13, professional organizations. So professional organizations is the National Association of Realtors, also known as NAR. They are the largest professional association in the world. That's what it says in this book. There's over 100,000, it says 1 million realtors. So actually the real number is right around 1.45. So we were right around 1.5 million. I think we've come down a little bit. So we might still be somewhere around 1.5 million. That's how many there are that are licensed in the United States. The real estate license in Texas is not required to become a member of the trade organization to practice real estate in Texas, but many licensees will become realtors. A person may not refer to themselves as a realtor unless they have joined the National Association of Realtors. So if you have not joined the Association of Realtors, you cannot call yourself a realtor. You're a real estate salesperson. Each state has their own state association. So Texas Association of Realtors has over 85,000 members, and it's called TAR, Texas Association of Realtors. California CAR, California Association of Realtors. So that's how we call ourselves. So when you join your local association, because that's what we're talking about now, you join your local association, the dues you pay them, they pay for your state, and then they pay for your national. So like our association in California, I'm Tri-Counties Association of Realtors. I'm in LA, Orange County, and San Bernardino. So those three are our association area. And we pay about $1,300 coming up in January. And out of that $1,300, about $400 or more, actually more, goes to the MLS. That's our multiple listing service. And then some goes to the state and some goes to the national. So it's not $1,300 just for that. It's a lot of stuff combined in there. And there's a lot of benefits to being a realtor, because you get benefits of, actually, if you go on the benefit thing, most people don't even know the benefits they get. We have one thing, it's called RPR. And RPR is a realtor property resource, and it helps realtors figure out what properties are worth, what school districts they're in. And so when people ask us questions about properties, we can go in and we can research it pretty easily. So the other benefit we get that's free is our zip forms. Well, depending on what association you're with will depend on your benefits. And our zip forms are where we go into the forms, and I can show you that on one of the videos. I did show you how to comp out a property on one of the videos. So you just kind of have to go through the videos and see what they are that are something interesting. If I'm talking about something stupid, just fast forward me. And you can hear me talk really fast. And then if I talk really fast, you can hear it faster, right? So anyway, we'll start here tomorrow where it says real estate, the business of value. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. So have an amazing rest of your day. I look forward to helping you and educating you. If there's something that I have not talked about or you don't want to search for it, just put it in the comments and I'll get right back to you, and that way you don't have to wait for a video. So have a great day. Unfortunately, I got to get one of those clickers so I can shut this off in a better professional way. But right now, see you later. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.